A lot of people look at this sport as a dying sport, and it's not.
You don't want to be too confident in yourself that you have this locked in the bag, because anything could happen.
As soon as the gun goes off, and all the nerves go away.
Just winning this would really mean a lot, especially I think for my dad too.
If you get first in anything, like you're the record setter and like you'll be the first person to ever skate at these competitions.
We're all laying the ground for more skaters to come next year.
Be able to do it on this format for the first year that they're doing it and being a part of it from the very beginning, it'll be something that'll be pretty special.
The racing is gonna be tough, it's gonna be fun, it's gonna be a blast, I can't wait.
For 3 days in June of 2018, speed was on full display at the inaugural U.S. Speed Skating American Championships. Skaters of all ages and abilities ascended to the thin air of Colorado Springs at the Xfinity Roller Sports Arena to test their mettle against some of the top inline speed skaters in the United States. The 3-day event was the first ever of its kind put on by U.S. Roller Speed Skating. And because of this, most of the skaters had not raced in this format or this type of track. The rules and the track layout for the event closely adhere to the international standard for inline speed skating. The thinking is this: when some of these top skaters go on to compete at the international level, they will be familiar with the layout and will hopefully help the U.S. shine on the world stage, as the United States has not won a world title since 2003. Competition started on Friday, and since this was the first ever American Championships, the gold medalists in each age group would be the first ever American champions. Every fastest time set would be an instant record. But those events were just the prelude to the main event of the weekend, the Race of Champions. It was all on the line Saturday night. The top 15 skaters across 4 age divisions from the American Championship. They would go head-to-head, skate to skate, for a share of a $10,000 prize purse. First place on both the men's and the women's side would get $2,500. Second place would net $1,500, while third place would take home a cool $1,000. Significant amounts of money in a sport where funds are limited. This is what makes the event unique. Not only does it allow for competition across age divisions, it also combined a moneyed race with a top-level tournament, something that has never been done before. But all of these athletes would have to earn their spot for the Race of Champions. Friday was qualifying day, with points given based on placement in each of the 3 distances. The short final, a 5-lap sprint. The middle final consisted of 10 laps, and the long final takes the skaters 20 times around the track. The more points a skater accumulates, the better their chances are to qualify for the Race of Champions. On the men's side, fans were treated to some standout racing, most notably in the 14 to 16-year-old age group. Nicholas Hopp, Zach Street, and Colton Miller traded positions throughout their finals, but it was Hopp who would find himself on top of the podium, thanks to his wins in the short and middle finals. These 3 skaters, they're young, but each figured to make some noise in the Race of Champions. In the 20 and up age group, a trio of contenders for a Race of Champions quickly emerged. Jared Paul, Aiden Saylor, and Christian Kiesler. They finished 1, 2, 3 in the overall results, and all 3 think the other 2 will be there in the end.
Jared Paul and Aiden Seller.
Jared Paul and Christian Kiesler.
Aiden Saylor and Christian, they're both skating really well.
Because Aiden, his sprint is just so good. His start's so good. He has that long inseam, so he has that that long snap out. And Jared, he's what I call a good circle. He has a really good start. He has a really good distance. He plays it smart.
And I just have to play it by ear in the races because I don't ever know what they're gonna do.
Again, you never underestimate anybody. So between the both of them, they could be there at any point in time. So I think them two, especially coming down to the end of the race, they're both willing to throw the pass too. So you always got to watch out.
On the women's side, a battle emerged across age divisions between two of the top skaters in the nation. A pair of skaters who know each other very well. Kelsey Hellman, a U.S. World Team member, dominated the 20 and up age division, taking first in all three finals. But she traded blows for fastest lap times with her teammate, Jasmine Foster. Also a U.S. World Team member, Foster swept all of the distances in the 17 to 19 age division, all setting up a head-to-head showdown for the money and adding yet another chapter to their friendly rivalry.
When we race head-to-head, she wins most of the time. I've only beat her ever once in a race, and she won't let me live that down either, but but I always try. My goal is to definitely beat her, and one day, hopefully, that happens.
But again, this race is anyone's to win. And with the fields established, each competitor enters the race of champions with their own set of motivations and aspirations.
I expect great racing.
Like my plans for here is to do my best and to make my coaches proud. That's my always goal, to make my coaches proud.
I hope to, get some early points, get some early wins, top two if anything.
It's going to be such a great opportunity to be able to race with the fastest girls here.
I hopefully want to win the 2500, but like I said, those two guys are definitely factors in winning that race.
At least want to be top three. I would love to win, but see what happens. However happens, happens.
Anything could happen. I'm just gonna give it what I have.
But in the end, there's only one way to get to the top of the podium.
To win.
The Race of Champions at the first ever American Championship is a unique event. It breaks the skaters out of their traditional age groups, and it puts the best of the best against each other to see who is the fastest on the track. There's a wide range of ages, experiences, and motivations, and that inherently shows the broad appeal of inline speed skating to these athletes. This is not a sport where cash flows freely. Thus, the motivation for these athletes has little to do with their bank account. For some, it's the opportunities they may not get elsewhere.
It's a lot of fun. I like meeting new people too. There's a lot of people that I meet. I mean, you don't get many opportunities to meet so many people from different states.
Friends and traveling the world, actually. I met new friends when I first started competing for the USA team in 2011, and I just love traveling.
I really enjoy the people in the sport. That's a big thing that's keeping me in it, because sometimes it's hard to keep training and all this stuff because you don't have a lot of time.
But for others, as they get older, the motivation may shift towards getting to the next level in the sport.
As you're getting older as an athlete, you start setting goals for yourself. And to be able to say that you've become the best in the world at something, it really says something about who you are as a person. In my mind, I can't put it down until I've obtained those goals. To spend so much time to not obtain those goals, all the years of sacrifice. So I don't feel like I can stop until I've taken it to that last level.
When I went to Worlds a few times, I really seen it, and it's amazing. It's so cool to see, how far you can go in the sport.
And beyond even all that, it's something that me and my father that passed a few years ago, it's something that we really bonded on, and we kind of made those goals together. And he never got to see me obtain a lot of these things that we set out to do. Growing up, I was that athlete that was really gifted, really talented. I put in tons of work, but I was just okay with being top 3. I was okay with being there. I didn't really care to be in that top spot, and it frustrated my dad to no end. All he wanted to do was see me, train and race to my potential. And he never got to see that, because in 2010 he wound up passing, and it was about that time that I started making the transition over to thinking more maturely and, really developing as an athlete. So he didn't get to see me make my first world team. He didn't get to see me win my first nationals. He didn't get to see me, again, become the athlete that, he always wanted me to become. So again, achieving that world level, that world title, becoming a world champion, until that gets to that point, I feel like I have to.
Achieving one's goals in the sport of inline speed skating is not cheap either. In a sport where funds are limited, costs for travel, entry fees, new equipment, it can all pile up fast. That's why events like the Race of Champions are important. If an athlete is successful on this night, the proceeds can help fuel further pursuit of their goals.
It would definitely help my trip to Worlds.
I completely quit skating for 2 years, and I quit for school so I can go ahead and get my degree and go ahead and start making more money to be able to support myself through skating. The biggest challenge was not being able to skate because I couldn't afford it.
I mean, it's hard to pay for all the bills and then plus this.
It would just go into skating. Everything I make goes right back into skating.
Thus, winning the event and the prize money is key to many of these athletes, their coaches, and their families.
I have bragging rights over Kelsey for winning, but
Oh, it would be super cool just being able to be up there with the girls on the podium.
It would be kind of cool because if I did win, whoa, where did he come from? I haven't seen Christian in 2 years. What's going on?
it would just mean a lot because, I'm already American champions for the 17 and 19, and just winning this would really mean a lot, especially I think for my dad too. So my dad's my coach. He's pushed me farther than I thought I'd ever go. He always believed me more than I did. He knew that I would make team this year even though I was so skeptical about it.
And for Christian Kiesler, it's important for him to show the world what this sport is all about.
A lot of people look at this sport as a dying sport, and it's not. Not a lot of people realize how mind-blowing it is. And you're like, wow, look at the edge. Look at the speeds. So I think the racing, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a blast. I can't wait. It's gonna be excited for tonight. Oh yeah.
The Race of Champions has arrived, and the tension in the air is palpable. The event is here, it's real, and it's now. And like many sports, the mental side is monumental. It can be an unseen hurdle that can derail a race before it even gets going.
I get so nervous, to be honest. Normally, I throw up before races like this, big competitions like this.
I think I doubt myself a lot before I get into a race. I did that here too because I didn't think I would maybe do as well.
Sometimes people get scared and put too much pressure on themselves, and they'll go into a race and they'll jump or they'll jump out.
You just have to overcome your mental state. You have to be able to stay positive no matter what happens.
And then there is the silent competitor that these athletes have been battling the entire tournament.
The altitude's a big problem here too. Definitely that was my one big problem when I first came. It's a big surprise to see how much different it is and how hard it is to breathe here.
It really tore up my lungs and my throat. It was very hard to breathe, especially after the races, trying to recover quickly.
You're just trying to survive at that point. Eyes are going blurry because I wear contacts, you're dehydrating, and all you can think about is just, oh my God, get through the next few laps, get some water.
But I think that everyone's dealing with the same thing, so being able to realize that is a big thing. You're not the only person that can't breathe out there, so it's a big part of it.
In this race, there are a lot of unknowns for these skaters, as a majority of the field consists of racers who have never competed against one another. This is a test to see who is most prepared and who has done their homework.
I'm racing faster guys, Jared Paul, Aiden Saylor, Christian Kiesler, but I haven't raced them to see how they've skated. So I kind of watch their races to see how they skate, how Jared will take off in the 50 or how Aiden will sprint the 3. And I try to see what track they take to see if the opportunity comes that I can pass one of them or take a shot.
Some of these younger guys coming up that are 18, 19, 20, you know, everybody wants that spot, and of course all they want to do is beat you. So, you know, you got to start using a lot more strategy and, you know, learn your competitors. Try to use it to your best advantage.
And finally, this is a race where your lead could slip away just like that if you trip, stumble, or make a bad pass.
You don't want to be too confident in yourself that you have this locked in the bag, because anything could happen. You could slip, you could hit a cone, anything. A lap skater could be in the way. While you're mental, you also want to be aware of everything that's happening. That way you can put your strategy together during the race.
On top of all those factors, the competition could also be over before it even begins if the skaters don't make it through their heats and into the finals. On the women's side, heat number 1 is underway. Kelsey Hillman takes an early lead and holds it for the first 5 laps. But on the 6th lap, her teammate Jalen Godin takes the inside lane and vaults into first. Then, 2 laps later, disaster nearly strikes as Hillman stumbles but recovers. It's moments like that that can end your night in an instant. Then in the final lap, Hillman turns it on, surges into first, and takes the victory in the heat, assuring her place in the final. Jalen Godin and Kaylee Ripke also move on to the final. In the second women's heat, perhaps some nerves creep in as a false start is called on Anissa Beatty. But following the misstep, little drama occurs as Jasmine Foster goes wire to wire for the win, with Sierra Golden and Beatty also making it through to the final. On the men's side, heat number 1 goes as expected. Jared Paul leads from start to finish, and Aaron Geddes and Zach Street come in 2nd and 3rd. Heat number 2 is a 3-man race early on. Christian Kiesler, Aiden Saylor, and Nick Hoff separate themselves from the pack. And as the race stretches out, they finish in that order, and all 3 are on to the finals. But then the real work begins. The finalists are faced with a trio of races to determine the Race of Champions winner. Each race comes with a point value of 34 points for first, 21 points for second, and 13 points for a third place finish. And the skater with the highest point total at the end of the night is your winner. Race number 1, a 50-lap elimination, gets not only the finalists, but the entire field. Eliminations come in 2 ways. Either you get lapped and you're eliminated immediately, or you're the last to finish when the officials ring the bell to indicate an elimination lap.
All right, our first bell lap, someone is getting eliminated.
Just like that, your hopes of winning the prize money is put in serious doubt. The race is all about strategy. One has to balance preserving their energy, yet keep enough speed to risk not getting eliminated. It's a race of attrition throughout, but on the women's side, Kelsey Hillman turns it on in the last few laps, even though she sat mid-pack for most of the race. Hillman earns a key early victory, and with the victory comes 34 big points towards a title. Jasmine Foster and Jalen Godin finished 2nd and 3rd respectively, but only a half second behind. On the men's side, the trio of Saylor, Paul, and Kiesler are your pack to watch. With 4 laps to go, Saylor is in the lead, but then Jared Paul goes to work, makes a slick inside pass, and then turns onto jets to blow away the field. Kiesler finishes 2nd, 2 seconds behind, with Saylor taking 3rd. Race number 2 is the 300-meter race. This is an all-out sprint. Kelsey Hellman wins with ease, notching her second victory, all but wrapping up the women's championship and securing the $2,500 check. Up next, the men's turn to sprint 300 meters. Jared Paul once again taking home first. In a battle for second place, a photo finish between Christian Kiesler and Aiden Saylor, with Kiesler winning by 100th of a second. However, with his second victory of the night, Jared Paul now has the inside track on the men's championship. With only the 1,000-meter race left, this is the last chance for Christian Kiesler and Aiden Saylor to make a move. Back on the women's side, barring a complete disaster, Kelsey Hellman will roll to the title. The battle for second place is on between Jasmine Foster and Jalen Godin. 3 laps in, Godin sees her chance as Hellman gets caught looking and ends up slipping into third. But a few laps later, Hellman finally sees her opportunity. Streaks into first, there's nothing Godin can do. Kelsey Hellman will coast to the win and securing the Women's Race of Champions title and the $2,500 that goes with it. Foster finishes second with Godin in third, and it's a clean sweep for Fast Forward Racing. In the final race of the night, it's the men's turn to go 1,000 meters. Jared Paul and Christian Kiesler broke away from the pack early and made it a 2-man race. But Paul, so dominant throughout the weekend, once again showed why he is one of the top talents in the United States. Paul wins it by nearly a half lap, an eternity in speed skating, and he takes home the men's title in the Race of Champions.
It's been a long few days, and it's been a lot of sleepless nights, so everything's leading up to this point. And again, it's relief. It's a relief that it's over, and obviously relief that you came out on top, and you got the respect for a little bit longer. And again, just the knowledge of knowing that everything is working, especially being at 31, man, making a lot of adjustments according to how the body is. It's just again, just happiness and relief.
With the competition completed, there is no animosity amongst these competitors. It's all love, admiration, and respect for their fellow skaters.
It was great racing, and I've said that before.
Most of these competitors know that they're not only working for themselves, but something greater. A chance to help promote inline speed skating to the rest of the nation.
We're all laying the ground for more skaters to come next year.
Knowing that this event would make the sport grow and to put this sport on a better level, that's the main reason why we're here.
For Jared Paul, it's all about giving back to something that has given him so much.
Giving back is the only way that we move forward. The only way possible that our sport can grow and get any bigger is if, once again, our athletes, if they learn and grow as well. I think one of the biggest things is becoming a more dominant force at the World Championships again, to be able to really promote our sport in a very positive light. And again, to help out some of the other kids the way my coaches helped me out. I mean, I couldn't ask for anything more.
The talent on display at the Race of Champions in Colorado Springs showed that the present and the future of this sport is strong. Inline speed skating is not dying in the United States, it's just getting started.